If you want to travel the world and become a digital nomad or be a digital nomad while traveling the world, this is the video for you. Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Brittany, and in today's video, we're going to talk about tips on how to become a digital nomad. A bit of background on myself. I decided to leave DC in December 2019 to become a digital nomad. I booked a one-way ticket to Belize, and since then I've lived in several different countries: Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, and I even did a stint in the summer in Italy and Spain. So I feel like I have a lot of knowledge in this area. Let's get right into it. The first tip. This is also the most important tip. Have multiple streams of income. Trust me. Don't rely on just one. You need multiple streams of income. Just like with any business, you're gonna have ebb and flow. So especially when you're traveling as a digital nomad and you're working remote, you're gonna need as many incomes coming in at all times as possible because so many things happen. And on top of that, you're not in your home country. You're traveling and living abroad. So expenses, even if the country is less expensive than your home country, those expenses are going to add up. Let's talk about the several different incomes that I suggest that you have, or you don't have to be limited to this one. I'm just going to throw a few ideas out there. First one, online teaching. As many of you know, if you've watched several of my videos, I taught on several teaching platforms such as Preply and on Outschool. Outschool I still do teach on, and I do teach on Preply if I open up my schedule, and they're great sources of income. Again, if you're teaching on these platforms, you need to know the platforms as well. I recommend just getting familiar to what works best with you and your schedule, and also if you're going to be an online teacher, making sure that you're on several platforms to teach. So I highly recommend, because I want to get paid quickly. Outschool does it quickly. Like, you get paid within 1 week of you teaching your first one-time class, or if you're teaching ongoing classes, you'll get paid like the next Sunday after. It's a little confusing. I have several videos that I'll link somewhere on the screen for you to teach. Now, if you're teaching on Preply, I think you do get paid right after the lesson. Okay, so say you teach for an hour, the student confirms that you did have the session with the student, and then you get paid immediately. So again, these are platforms that you can teach where you get paid quickly, which we want. We want that money coming in, so highly recommend. Another thing that you can do when you're working as a digital nomad, another platform or a way of generating income or having income coming in, is with digital resources, selling your digital resources. Going back to Outschool, I have a video and I'll link it here. I made money selling my Canva templates and my Canva classes online. You can do that through your own website, you can do that through Etsy, or you can do that through Teachers Pay Teachers. Incredible platforms to sell your resources on, but they are going to take a bit of commission. So I highly recommend getting on a platform that has like low fees or selling it on your own website. Another way of making income that you will need if you're a digital nomad is through drop shipping. If you have your own drop shipping store, that's a great way to generate income. Again, I highly recommend going to the person that you need to, like maybe taking like an online course or watching a lot of YouTube videos. I know there's a lot of YouTubers that teach about drop shipping, but it's a really great way to earn passive income, and I highly recommend having that as a stream of income if you're going to be a digital nomad. Another tip is you really need to focus on your budget. What is your budget each and every single month? There are different types of digital nomads. I am going to say digital nomad as someone who is constantly traveling, that decides to go maybe from country to country after a certain period of time. So if that means that you're going to stay 1 month in Colombia, the next month in Chile, or the next month in Ecuador, I'm just throwing these out there, then that means you are technically, I feel like, a digital nomad. Remote workers are, for me, it's a little bit different, because if you're a remote worker, you're usually staying in one location. Like, you're not constantly like traveling. Like, nomad for me is you are a nomad, right? You're free, you're nomading around. But in my opinion, there are two different things aside from a digital nomad and a remote worker, but we're only strictly talking about digital nomads in this video. I break down being a digital nomad in two categories, and they break down into slow travel and fast travel. I like slow travel, and the reason why I like slow travel as a digital nomad is because you tend to save more money. We're working as a digital nomad, we need Wi-Fi, and other than that, that's pretty much all we need. Also a roof over your head, but To each their own. Now, if you are traveling and you're living as a digital nomad and you're doing slow travel, the cost is a little bit lower because you're staying in one set area. And on top of that, you're getting to know like the locals and you're spending a little bit more time in the area that you are currently living in, which I prefer. I like it. Then the second area of, I feel like, digital nomading is fast travel. Fast travel is you're like boom, 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 boom. You're here, you're there, you're everywhere. And usually like fast travelers, they're digital nomads, they don't stay anywhere longer than 2 to 3 weeks, and that is like max. They're traveling, they're on a flight, they're on a bus, they're in a tuk-tuk, they're in a car, they're on a boat. You get what I'm saying? So it's constantly travel, 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 which you need a budget because that adds up. To me, fast traveling is more expensive because you're booking a flight, booking a boat ticket or train ticket. You're also making sure that you have short term. Short term is more expensive than long term. Usually when you're doing slow travel or you're doing like a longer term travel, they'll give you a discount if you ask for it. Maybe you're staying at like a hostel or a hotel. Even if you're staying in like an Airbnb, you can ask for a discount for extended periods of stay, and usually a lot of people prefer that because they know that you're going to pay on time and that you're there for a longer time, so they don't have to worry about turning it over. As opposed to fast travel, they're really not going to offer you a discount if you're leaving in like 2 weeks. You're going to probably pay full price, which it does add up. And on top of that, when you're fast traveling, you're usually wanting to hit like all the tourist spots. Like you're not going to be able to plan it out to where, well, I guess you can if you want to, but you're not going to be able to plan it out to say, oh, well, on next Wednesday, this museum has free entry after 5 p.m. because you're probably already on a train to your next country or your next destination. So there are a lot of pros and cons to each fast and slow travel. In fast travel, the pro is you get to see everything and you're going from place to place to destination to where you're seeing more things and you're experiencing more cultures, more food, different landscapes. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So again, fast travel and slow travel, I break those up into 2 categories, and I like them. I think they're great. So it's to your preference on what you enjoy. Now, if you're interested on learning about how to teach online, I have previous videos, and you can also book a one-on-one session with me, whether it's online teaching or if you want to download any of my free resources, I'll have that all linked in the description. I also have a digital nomad resource guide that you can download. Again, it's linked in the description. If you have any questions on what to do if you are lost, maybe you want some ideas on ways to gain income, I have that resource as well. Everything is linked in the description for you. And thank you for watching my video. If you can hit like and subscribe, I will be so grateful. Thank you all so much. It means the world that you're watching. Let's continue. This is a great tip. This is also just me throwing this in here. Your schedule. I think this is the biggest pro. You get to make your own schedule. I know that I am really not a desk 9-to-5 girly, but to each their own. But for me, I feel like the greatest freedom is making your own schedule and creating your own schedule. And as a digital nomad, you do just that. If you do have clients in certain time zones, you do have to adhere to a certain schedule. But again, the freedom is you get to work from anywhere. If you are a digital nomad, I highly suggest having a set schedule because you will get a little bit used to the time difference as well as like a routine, and that's really important as a digital nomad. You want to make sure that you're intact mind, body, and soul, because it's a lot when you're traveling and you're a digital nomad and you're traveling from place to place and you're really not familiar and all those senses like sort of kick in. So I always recommend having like a schedule, maybe making sure like if you want to work out that you have time allotted in your day to work out, maybe grab a cup of coffee, maybe take a nice little walk. So I'm just throwing that in there. If you're a digital nomad, just think about having a schedule. Even if it does differ, try to like stay on some type of schedule. And one of my favorite things about being a digital nomad, this is just my tip, you all get to travel. You get to travel. You get to travel whenever you want when you're a digital nomad. So think about that. And outside of the good old USA, it is less expensive. It is so affordable to travel. It just lights up my life. Like, I cannot tell you how happy I am if I am getting ready to get on a bus and it is like 10 pesos, which is 50 cents. Like, I am happy to give that, because I don't know anywhere unless you live in a major city and they give you like free bus transportation where you can get that, because you really can't. One thing that I loved about living in Europe are the flight costs. They are so much more less expensive. I don't know if that makes sense, but they're less expensive than the USA. When I was living in Madrid, I could just look at a ticket and it's like $40 to go to Paris. I don't think I can even pay $40 from Washington, D.C. to Miami. Like, what? Mind-boggling. So that's a perk of being a digital nomad. The transportation will be less expensive than what you're used to in the USA. Also, this goes for South America, Central America, also all parts of Asia. I remember when I did my yoga teacher training in Rishikesh, India, I booked a ticket to Bangkok in Thailand. Bangkok for 130 USD. Like, are you kidding me? I'm literally going from New Delhi, India to Bangkok, Thailand. So happy. Again, when you're outside the USA, it is so affordable to travel, and it's great because I feel like if you did not grow up traveling, I mean, that is me, traveling is less expensive outside of the good old USA, which is great if you want to become a digital nomad. Now, if you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments. These are just tips to help you get started, as well as just like my personal tips and my opinion. I'm so grateful for you staying at the end of the video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Oh, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Bye everyone. Thank you. See you in the next video.